Flosstube. I'm Tanya the Starlit Stitcher, and this is Buddy. I brought him home with me on my trip when I went to go and pick up my daughter from California, and on our way back we stopped at my mom's house in New Mexico, and she had a litter of 3 kitties, and I could not help myself. He came home with me. But he wants to go play right now, so I'm going to hand him off so he can go and do that in the back half. And so let me do that real quick. Because he wants to go play. And he's getting a little bit wild right now. But here he goes. He's 7 weeks old. And him and his 2 sisters were all ready to go home. His sisters have been claimed already. One went to a home that they already have another kitty. And the other one, she's kind of wild. She's going to where she's going to like catch mice and stuff for those people. And then he came home with me. He was the little one. So I didn't do my floss tube right away whenever I got home. We got home late Friday night. Yeah. And I've been helping him drink water and stuff because he's drinking and eating all by himself, but he's not drinking enough water by himself. So I've been adding water into his food and then also giving him water by syringe to make sure that he's keeping his fluids up because he's so little and it's freaking hot. Okay, so as I think I already said, it's been a few weeks since I last saw you guys, and I've been doing kind of a lot. It kind of seems like I've been doing everything but stitching. But for those who are here for just the stitching, let me show you that, and then I'll tell you about everything else. All right? So while I was away, I did work on a little bit of my Long Dog Samplers Pandemic. Okay? I didn't progress too much on this one, but you know, I was visiting family and stuff, so it is what it is. But since you haven't seen it in a while, I put it up on my board, and this is what the whole thing looks like all together so far. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Haunted Lugana by Picture This Plus, and the DMC is, this is what happens when I haven't filmed in a few weeks. I forgot. Again, what is it? It is DMC 3756 is what I'm stitching this with, 2/2. Now when you last saw this, I had this at the halfway point, 10 out of 20 pages done. And what I did while I was on my trip was this little triangular area down here. And there we go. So not very much, but it will add up. I have decided that this will just get done whenever it gets done because I started it in March, I believe, and that progress in March went really well. April and May, not so much because I don't have a whole lot of natural light in this camper. I do right now because we're finally in summer, but in spring it was a lot of rain on a lot of days. But this is going to get put back away again until in July because I have some things that I want to try and finish before we get into July. But I should be able to start stitching a lot more on this now that we actually have some good light going. But anyhow, that's where that's at. And I mostly worked on My Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut while I was away on my trip. And let me show you where that is now. It's getting there, guys. Need to push back my thing again. Oh, I can't push it back anymore with that. Okay, here we go. I hope you all can see that. This is where it is. Now, while I was gone, I finished that flag up there, and I did this bar thingy. I filled out my strawberries from this tree bush that ways. I did all that, and I did the second row bar thingy. I brought my border down, and I did this middle house. So I did a decent amount. I mean, not as much as what I would have done had I been home, but on my trip, I'm driving by myself because I didn't bring the husband with me, so I was doing all the driving by myself and stuff. So but that's still a pretty good decent chunk. I think that I could still finish this before we head into July, which is what my goal is for this month, is to try to have this done, possibly framed the next time that you see it. And so that's what I'm going to be working on. Now this is being stitched on a 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana by Witchelton. I'm stitching 2/2 with all the called for flosses. And when I have this finished, I'll give you guys a list of what my floss usage actually is, because the called for is only a 35 count with 1/2, so I'm using quite a bit more floss than what it says to. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how that goes whenever that is done. And those were the only 2 projects that I had brought with me on my trip. I didn't want to bring everything because that's just a bit much. I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of stitching time, so yeah, it was what it was. Okay, so the other news. What did I do on the trip? Okay, so when I went into California, when I make that trip to go and get my daughter, I don't like to drive all the way there and then immediately turn around and drive all the way back. That's a really long way because I'm in Northwest Arkansas. So it's something like a 27.5-hour driving. Just driving. That doesn't count like your times to stop and get gas and eat, go to the bathroom, sleep, and all that extra stuff. And so what I do when I go out there is I stay with my stepmom for a few days. Now this time I had went up early. I decided to plan my trip around not driving on the weekend, which would have been, you know, the first or second weekend of summer for most people getting out of school. And that was probably going to be crazy. Okay, so I didn't want to wait until the Monday or Tuesday to leave here, because I would get my daughter on the Thursday, because, you know, that's what our paperwork says from, you know, the family court. You know, those who know, you know how that works. And so I would have left here on a Monday, got there Tuesday, and then only been like a day and a half before making the turnaround. And I'm like, no, I don't really want to do that, because not only is I'm going to be really fatigued if I do that, but I don't want to be long to my stepmom like, hi, bye, immediately. I mean, that's, no, I don't want to do that. So I decided to go up early. So that's why I left them. We left here at like 3 o'clock in the morning on the Thursday that I left. And so we, meaning me, and I brought the little with me. Okay, so not we as in me and my husband, we as in me and the little. I didn't prepare at all for this video, can you tell? But anyhow, so we left super early in the morning. She, of course, went back to sleep. So our first stop was Oklahoma City at around, I don't know, I guess 8:30-ish in the morning we got there. Now, that wasn't too bad. Morning rush hour was just barely starting to get started up, but we made it through before it got too bad. And there is construction on the east side of where all those big junctions are at there. So if anybody else is doing some traveling, just try and plan around not being in that area during rush hour, because it does get packed when people are going to and from work in that area. It generally does tend to be pretty busy anyways because of how big of a hub that it is. But if you do go through there and it's super busy or rush hour, just have a lot of patience. You know, when people are trying to move over, let them move over. I haven't run into any issues where people drive like crazies, you know, weaving in and out at 100 miles an hour or anything like that. The drivers in that area are pretty courteous, I found, when I've been through there and it's busy. So there's that. Amarillo, Texas, there always seems to be construction through there every time I've been through there. Luckily, I've never been through there when it's been really busy, so I can't tell you what it's like when it is rush hour or super packed. and therefore I can't tell you if people drive crazy there. I haven't had a bad experience driving through there, but just be aware that's another one that's pretty big on construction right now. And Teresa Pass on the east side of Albuquerque. That's going through construction right now too. I can tell you right now that people drive through there like it's like you're in a madhouse, no matter what time of the day that it is. It's basically a mountain part of I-40 going through that pass. It's really windy, and people tend to drive through there really fast as it is. And so if you're taking I-40 anytime this summer, just be aware that there is construction going through there. So be careful driving through there. Be aware of, you know, the construction and the people around you. Okay? That's one of the scary parts of the drive, at least for me personally, because yeah, Albuquerque itself is fairly short. It only takes you like 10 minutes to get through it, maybe, and it's kind of a big hub too, but nowhere near as big as the hub in Oklahoma City. And so once you get past that, you're fine. And let's see where those. Let's see. Around Albuquerque, around Oklahoma City, and then there was another section that had some construction too. I can't remember what it is though, but those were the two that were. Oh yeah, Amarillo too. Yeah, I told you about all three of them. Those are the only three that's going on. And also on the road trip, I saw that there's not that much people heading west. There's like 3 times more people heading east, and I saw that on both the way out and the way back in. So I don't know what the deal is about that, but that's what I personally saw. And so that was what it was like out on the road. The way back was super hot. I am glad that we left early in the morning. Well, not as early as the time that we left here. We left California at like between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. And I'm really kind of glad that we did, because seriously, going through the desert in California, I think I told you guys before I even left that I do not like to go through there during the heat of the day. So I try to plan around that and not being in rush hour, because if you get a combination of those things, that's pretty awful. Okay? And so it got up to, I think, 114 was the highest we saw before we made it through the whole desert and got into Kingman, Arizona, which is another favorite stop of mine, so that we can avoid Ludlow. Do not stop in Ludlow, guys, okay? Usually I stop in Kingman on the way out there, but I can't fill up enough gas in Kingman to make it all the way to my destination in California. So what I do is I just get a little bit of gas in Ludlow, and then I can make the rest of my trip. That was a mistake on the way out. Holy crap, you guys. The gas when I stopped there was $7.39. All right. So it's a good thing I only needed like 5 gallons, because, if you could stop anywhere else but there to get gas, you might be okay. I found, let's see, on the route that I take, I don't go through Barstow or Bakersfield. I have to go south, and so I do go through like Boron and let's see, what is that, the California 58 or the California 99? It might be the 58, one of those. But there's a tiny little place in the middle of nowhere, basically, called Boron, and that's where I found another gas stop that was still pretty high, but it was better than what I saw in Ludlow, and that was at about $6 a gallon, I think, when I went through there. So that is where I stopped on the way back out. So, and I could make it from there to Kingman, because I don't want to run out out of gas, especially in the middle of nowhere in the heat of the desert. That's not good. So that's what I did. And so yeah, just a heads up, people, do not stop in Ludlow. Okay, do anything possible to not stop in Ludlow, because it's just crazy right now on gas. And that is probably the worst place to get gas right now. So yeah, just a heads up. Things that we did in California while I was there. I had my birthday on June 6th, and so we went out to eat. Not, I don't remember what day of the week it was my birthday, but we went out to eat for dinner on the Monday. Yeah, the Monday after I got there to my stepmom's house. And I went out to eat with a couple of family members, had dinner and stuff, and went back to the house and had some cake. We might have had ice cream too. I don't remember. And so, yeah, that's what I did when I was there. I got my daughter later that week on the Thursday. We did get to have her for when we went out to eat and stuff, and then I took her to school the next day. And when we left California, we stopped in New Mexico at my mom's house, and we were there for several days. And so I got to visit with my brother too before we left. And so what we did was we took the kids to the Albuquerque Zoo. They had a pretty good day out there. I mean, it was hot. Like, oh my gosh, you guys. The entire U.S. must have been on fire or something on my way back from my trip, because it was everywhere. I couldn't escape it. It was in the desert in California. It was all through Arizona. It was in New Mexico. And yeah, but we had a good day at the zoo. And again, we celebrated my birthday there, and it was my middle's birthday as well, because my mom's my mom's birthday is June 2nd. Mine is June 6th. My sister's is June 10th. And my middle daughter, her birthday is June 8th. So we have 4 girls' birthdays in June in my family, okay? So we had an ice cream cake to celebrate for that as well. And so we did that. And after we were done at the zoo, we took the kids over to, I guess they put in a new splash pad there in the plaza in downtown Albuquerque. We took them over there to play. The zoo used to have a splash pad there, but I guess they took it out, and they're going to be putting in some type of shuttle thingy. The signs didn't say what this shuttle was going to do. We're assuming that it's going to be taking people back and forth from the zoo to either the aquarium or the botanical gardens, however you pronounce it. But yeah, the splash pad in the Albuquerque Zoo, it's not there anymore, which was, yeah, so, but they did have one in the plaza, so we took them all there instead. And so yeah, that was my trip with my mom. While I was there, I helped her out with her doggies and everything, because I think I've told you guys before that she breeds Shar-Pei. That's where my 2 came from. And so yeah, I was helping her out with that and watering the animals. And she has goats, and 2 of them had babies. One had a set of triplets. The other one had a set of twins. And so there's 5 baby goats right now. And they're all boys. My mom was hoping for some girl ones, but they were all boys. She was like, really? So, yeah, she kind of asked me. I was like, do you want to bring home a couple of these? I was like, yeah, I don't have anywhere to put them right now. Like, if we were in the house and had the house up, which I've got a story about that too when I'm done with this. But anyhow, when we had a house up, or if we had like a pen or a shelter or anything, we don't have a setup for any kind of livestock right now over there, you know. So that's going to be a couple years project. I'd like to have like 2 or 3 goats to kind of, be living lawnmowers over there. So I'd like to eventually have some, but right now there's just no way. I don't have any kind of setup to be able to provide for them right now. So we'll see how things go. And then also because their purpose would be to be as living lawnmowers. It doesn't matter to me if they're boys or girls. And then, so next up, she had the kitties. That's where the little gray kitten came from that I showed you. And I decided to call him Buddy. He's super sweet. He likes to be cuddled, and he's going to be a cuddle kitty. He's just feeling a little bit wild today because it's the morning. I just got done feeding him, and it's his typical playtime. He mostly lives in a dog kennel right now because he is little. And my dogs are not cat killers, but they're a lot bigger than he is, okay? So just to keep him safe, if nobody's holding him or playing with him or anything like that, that's his safe place to go so that he can rest and be left alone, is in a dog kennel. He's got a little poop box in there and food and water. Those are all in there. And so yeah. And let's see here. But yeah, he's doing good. So from my mom's house to here, it's like between 12 and 13 hours driving. He did really good on that trip. You know, I set him up a tiny little cardboard box to poop in. And, you know, he had food and water the whole way, and he was eating and drinking. And yes, he cried a little bit on that drive, but not too bad. Like every time that we stopped, he would cry for like 5 minutes or so. Now, what did I actually put him in? I had a cat kennel in my van already because I already have 2 adult cats, and whenever I take them anywhere, that's what I put them in, and that was in the van. So that's what the little kitten went in whenever I got to my mom's, because a lot of stuff lives in my van right now because I use it frequently enough to not put it in storage, but there's not enough space here in the camper, so it lives in my van. And so yeah, that's what he came. And I will tell you though, on the last 2 hours of the driving, he started kind of realizing that, oh my gosh, where's my mama and where's my sisters? So like the last 2 hours of the driving here was a lot of meowing, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to take him out and pet him so bad, but like I can't really do that when I'm driving. I took him out for a little bit and handed him back to my middle. But you know, they're kittens, they're scared. They haven't really figured out yet to not poke people when you're holding them. And so that didn't last for very long. I had to put him back in there and just kind of deal with it. And then he was happy whenever we got here. He was fine the next day. I got him switched over into the bigger dog kennel, like I said. So that's what he's in now. I got him all cleaned up. But then the next day, he didn't make any poo-poos. Like between when I got him switched into the big kennel and then the next morning after that, Saturday morning. And so, but it was really, really hot on Friday. And so I decided that I needed to get some more water into him, and I also had to, I basically had to get him to poop, okay, because everybody has to do it. I know it's gross, but the kitties are just like everybody else. If they don't go, it basically turns you septic, okay? And, you know, he wasn't having any signs of being sick or anything, but I don't like to wait that long, wait until there is a problem to fix the problem, okay? So I got him to go poop, which, you know, I didn't put anything in his butt for anybody who has that kind of a question. But was still kind of gross in that, like, you know, when I got him to go, it went in my hand. And that, yeah. But, oh my gosh, I got him to purr for the first time after that came out. He was so happy. He was all purring. And he was happy. I mean, he really was not happy during that process, but when that was out, he was all happy and purring and playing. So I know he felt a lot better after that was done. And then, you know, that's when I got the syringe. And it's just this, you know, you just scoop up the water in it and then you push it in. Kind of like how you would give medicine to a baby. That's how you supplement little animals water if they're not drinking enough yet by themselves. Because I was observing him, and what he's doing is he takes his paws and he sticks it in his water, and then he licks the water off of his paws. Like, he won't put his face down in the water and lick it up. I don't know why. So he's eating canned food right now to promote consuming more moisture and more water, and then I'm adding a little bit of extra water into that to get him to get more water. And then I'm also supplementing, watering him basically by hand every few hours. And so let's see, yesterday morning I go to check his little poop box, and there were a bunch of little poo-poos in there, and so I was really happy to see that. So he seems to be good to go now that, you know, the blockage got removed on a Saturday, and he's all good to go. And as you can see, he's happy, he's healthy, and I mean, he didn't really get to hold still very good so that you can see him very well right now, but maybe in a few weeks I'll show him again. He'll be a little bit more cooperative. But I just wanted to show you guys that I got him. He's too cute, okay? And so, okay, so house updates. We had some house updates while I was gone. I told you I left my husband here so that he could deal with that, all right? So those who have not watched before, we've been in the process of buying a house for the last 18 months. It's been crazy. We've gone from having a loan secured and a house on the way in process of being built to 3 weeks before it was supposed to be here, they decided we didn't get to have the house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was awful. It was awful. Okay. So we're currently getting a different house now, and we looked at and put a deposit on it in the beginning of April. So we're halfway through June and we still don't have it yet. We're getting a manufactured home, so the one that we're looking at right now, it's already built and ready to go. So none of this crazy, oh, we finally picked another house and it's going to be a whole nother 9-month wait until it gets here. No, this one's right there. All we got to do is finish this paperwork with the bank, and it can go from point A to point B once the foundation stuff is done over on our property. Okay, so that was a TLDR of where we were at whenever I left. When I left, we were waiting on the appraisal to happen, which at that point had been like 5 or 6 weeks after the guy got hired. Okay, so as you all know, throughout this whole thing, we can't have anything done without any kind of drama, because that's just kind of the way that it is. Well, it doesn't really get much worse, because we found out while I was away on my trip that the guy who was supposed to do our appraisal, he up and went and died, guys. Okay? How much unlucky can that get? I mean, not just for us, but I don't know what happened to him. I don't know his name. He was not on our property at the time that it happened. I kind of think that, you know, maybe he was just really old and that just happened to be his time to go. We don't know. But the appraisal company, they found this out because they were unable to reach him, because we and the sellers were like, hey, this is taking an excessively long time. Like, what's going on? This isn't normal. And it took them a while to say, we can't get a hold of him either, and this is what's happened. And so we were like, I don't know if it's a sign from God or some kind of test or something, but it seems like every possible thing that can go wrong with getting the house is going wrong. So that was pretty upsetting. But the appraisal company said that they were going to send another guy out, and they were going to put it on a rush order, so that we were basically first priority because we'd already been waiting for so long. And so the appraisal got done finally, and it came back as very sufficient. Sorry, I'm being distracted because there's a wasp in here. Oh my god. Sorry. Like I said, there's always some kind of drama in here. So if you see something flying around here, that's what it is. It's a big wasp that just came in through the open door. Because if we keep that door shut, we're going to bake in here for real. So it's open. The caveat being we have bugs a lot. Anyhow, so appraisal got done. It came back as very sufficient. Now, I say that because we had to do some things to get this loan that we really didn't want to do because, as you know, the real estate market is just insane right now. And we were experiencing a ton of problems trying to get our VA loan to get done in any kind of timely manner whatsoever. And so we decided to give up on that. We want to be in a house. I mean, 18 months is just insane. We want out of this camper like immediately. And so we decided to just say, we've just had it trying to do any of the VA stuff. And then plus there's also, additional red tape and extra things that you have to do. And the homes are more expensive now by a lot than what they were when we started. And so we did some things to kind of get the cost of the house down. Things like gutters on the house that add like 10 or 15 grand to the price of the house. The VA requires you to have those when you get the house, whereas a conventional loan does not. And we can put gutters on our own for under 3 grand. But because the VA requires them to be on the house already at the time that you get it, it substantially adds to the thing of your to the amount of your loan, and therefore increases the odds that you're not going to pass your appraisal and you're not going to get your loan because of it being too high. And so we just bare minimum on everything to get our costs down on the house, and we decided to go conventional. And we oh my gosh, there's all kinds of bugs in here. I'm so sorry, guys. I mean, you can't see them on the screen, but I can, and it's really distracting. We had to put up our property as collateral. So basically that means if we don't pay the mortgage, we not only lose the house, we also lose our land. Alright? So when we went to go and have this appraisal done, we also decided to go this route because it means that we don't have to do an appraisal on the house itself. Because right now, just about any house is going to appraise too low to get a loan on it. And the difference is too high for us to pay the cash difference. So say like the house is, it's being sold at $150, $150,000. If the appraisal comes in at only $100, you have to come up with the $50,000 in cash somehow, or you don't get your bank loan to be able to buy the house. And that's just the way that it is. And so we decided to go, again, like I said, that's why we decided to take this conventional route and put up our land as collateral so that we wouldn't have to deal with the house portion of the appraisal at all. What we needed to have an appraisal done on was our land itself, which we knew was good because we've had appraisals done a few times before throughout this entire process. So we know what our land value is and that it would meet the requirement that the bank wants to be able to give us the loan, because they don't want to loan you they want to know what your land value is worth before they say, hey, okay, we agree to loan you this money if you agree that if you don't pay it, we take your property. Okay? I don't know. It's kind of technical, but that's basically what it is. So we needed the appraisal to come in at X amount, which we knew that it would, because the last time it was appraised, it was for almost double what the amount that the bank needed it to come in. So we knew that was good. It just stuff happened and it took forever to get that done, and we had nothing to do with like every single possible thing that could go wrong, it's gone wrong in this whole process. We didn't have any control over whether the guy went and died on us. Like, really? And then also I was telling my husband, I really hope that they don't tell the next guy that the last guy hired to do our job died, because then he might not want to go and do it. I mean, it's like you feel bad because when somebody passes away, you wouldn't wish that on anybody, but it's like, man, it's just been so many brick walls. But anyhow, appraisal's done. The bank's happy with what they saw. The seller is super happy because they can finally move this house and get some inventory through. And so we're waiting on the final underwriting stuff. And when that is done, then our contractors get paid so that we can do the stuff that we need to do for the foundation over there. So we're kind of hoping that can at least be started before the end of this month. I really hope so, because when that's all done and cured and everything, they can finally deliver our house and we can at least look at it until we get the keys and can move in. So we're heading towards the end of the tunnel finally. It's just taken forever to get there, but oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. Like, the second we have keys, I don't care if I have to go and sleep on bare floors and no food in there and just wait to move the stuff out of the camper, but because I don't want to spend any more time in here than I absolutely have to. Oh my gosh, this was kind of a long video today. And it was mostly not stitchy related. I'm so sorry, guys, if you were here to see the stitching and there really wasn't that much and it was more real life related. But that's everything that's been going on, all right? So, yeah, over the next couple of weeks before I see you again, I'll be focusing on Land That I Love. I don't know if I can have it framed by the next time that you see it, but I'm going to try to at least have it done so that you can see it done before I pop it over to the framers. So we're going to play that by ear. And yeah, so next time you see me in a couple of weeks, I'll let you know